Today's monthly recap video is special for a few reasons. We will be going over the milestones I reached, the goals I accomplished, and setting new goals for 2023, as well as the income produced by my portfolio for the month, quarter four, and all of 2022. With that being said, we have a lot to get to, so let's get right to it. First up is the IBA, also known as my Retire Early account, and we're going to go over the account progress first. I currently have 11 different holdings in this account with an account value of $25,131.92. My goal diversification for this portfolio based on cost basis is 11% in Apple and Microsoft, 10% each in AbbVie, Pool Corp, and Starbucks, and 8% each in APD, Illinois Toolworks, NextEra Energy, NVIDIA, Visa, and ExxonMobil that I balance daily with the dollar cost average approach using this table. First, I'd like to outline that I do not make any sells to help me balance my portfolio. It's only additions. And this table just takes my goal allocations times the total value of the account. Again, that's based on the cost basis to tell me how much each position should be worth if it were at the goal allocation. Then the next column finds out the difference between those two numbers, while the last column tells me how much I need to add per trading day based on the number of days I enter for each stock to reach that goal allocation. This strategy has led me to a total of 167.947 shares, and that's compared to the 70.434 shares I ended 2021 with, an average of 15.26 shares where I ended 2021 with 6.403 shares on average, which means just in my Retire Early account, I increased that share count by 138.5% in 2022. I have a current dividend yield of 1.79%, and that's compared to the 1.73% in 2021, but my yield on cost is 2.01%, and that's compared to the 1.86% in 2021, which means my yield on cost in 2022 increased by 0.15%, and that's what you call buying the dip. My best three performing stocks are APD, that's up 5.59%, AbbVie, that's up 28.19%, and ExxonMobil, that's up 50.8%. On the flip side, my worst three performing stocks are Apple, that's down 15.19%, Pool Corp, that's down 21.04%, and NVIDIA, that's down 25.41%. Overall, this Retire Early account is down 1.91%, which isn't good, but comparing it to the S&P 500, that's down 13.1% year to date, we're doing all right. Now let's check to see what I was able to buy for the month of December. I was able to dollar cost average into all 11 of my positions on 17 different days this month. I spent $302.51 on Apple to receive 2.218 shares at an average cost of $137.17. I spent $274.19 on AbbVie to receive 1.68 shares at an average cost of $163.27. I spent $219.25 on APD to receive 0.696 shares at an average cost of $315.35. I spent $219.49 on Illinois Toolworks to receive 0.993 shares at an average cost of $221.09. I spent $296.53 on Microsoft to receive 1.238 shares at an average cost of $244.80. I spent $210.58 on NextEra Energy to receive 2.593 shares at an average cost of $84.84. I spent $219.44 on NVIDIA to receive 1.374 shares at an average cost of $161.74. I spent $269.31 on Pool Corp to receive 0.854 shares at an average cost of $316.72. I spent $262.76 on Starbucks to receive 2.62 shares at an average cost of $100.44. I spent $216.20 on Visa to receive 1.056 shares at an average cost of $208.61. And I spent $196.98 on ExxonMobil to receive 2.074 shares at an average cost of $105.92. In total, just for this account in the month of December, I was able to spend $2,687.24 to receive 17.396 total shares, adding a forward dividend income of $48.12. Now, let's see how many paydays I was able to get from this passive income account in December. I received dividend payments from 5 of my 11 holdings this month, beginning with Visa on December 1st, who paid me $3.68, which was dripped, getting me another 0.018 shares. Then on December 8th, I received $5.73 from Microsoft, which was dripped, getting me another 0.023 shares. The very next day, on December 9th, I received $22.78 from ExxonMobil that was dripped, getting me another 0.22 shares. The following week, on December 15th, I received $9.26 from NextEra Energy that was dripped, getting me another 0.106 shares. Then the following week, on December 22nd, I received 35 cents from Nvidia that was dripped, getting me another 0.002 shares. And lastly, on December 30th, I received $3.57 as an interest payment on the cash held in the account that was just added back to my cash balance of the account. Now let's total those numbers up and check out that portfolio growth. Again, as I mentioned, this is a special video. Not only do we find out what I made in December, we're going to find out what I made for quarter 4 and what I made for 2022. So as you guys can see, in December of 2020, I was able to make $6.58 for the month of December versus December of 2021, where I bumped that up to $24.13. And then December 2022, this month, I made $45.37. This is a year over year increase of 88% and a 589.5% increase since origination. Next up, let's compare the fourth quarters. In Q4 of 2020, I made $11.09. In Q4 of 2021, I made $60.31. And then in Q4 of 2022, this year, I made $109.45. That's a year over year increase of 81.5% and an 886.9% increase from origination. And lastly, let's take a look at how much I made for the whole year. In my first year of dividend investing in 2020, I made $23.77. In 2021, I made $205.04. And then this year in 2022, just in this retire early account, I was able to make $307.21. That's a year over year increase of 49.8% and a 1,192.4% increase since origination. The 12-month forward projected income for this retire early account is $494.51 per year. And that's compared to the end of 2021, where I had projections of $190.19. We get a monthly projection of $41.21, and that's compared to the $15.85 from 2021. And then a daily projection of $1.35, which compares to the 52 cents from 2021. Those projections would be a 160% increase over those 2021 end of year projections that I had for 2022, and would be an increase of 61% over the dividends I made in 2022. Keep in mind that this is not including any dividend raises or additional money added to this account for all of 2023. Speaking of dividend raises, I just finished this new tab on my spreadsheet that I'd love to share with you guys. So looking here on this sheet, you guys can see that I have all 11 of my companies listed out here on the far left. Then it goes into the sector, industry, and sub-industry of each one to make sure I'm at least diversified at a micro level. And then we get into the meat and potatoes of the chart. You will see the annual dividends paid from each of my holdings in 20, 15, 10, 5, and 1 year increments, tracking the total percent change and the compound annual growth rate. Down here at the bottom, you'll be able to see the compound annual growth rate of all 11 of my holdings over those time periods as well. The point of all this is to show you that 61% increase I'm expecting from 2022 to 2023's dividend income, again, is without any dividend increases or extra money added. But if you factor in a low ball estimate of 8% dividend growth rates from all of my companies, that would jump to $534.08, which is a 76.7% increase from my 2022 dividend income. These are just some of the wonders of dividend investing done right. As mentioned in the November recap, I really wanted to change up this series to focus on my retire early account, but I still want to provide that insight into my retirement accounts as well. Going forward, I'm only going to be providing a high-level overview of the retirement accounts to keep these videos focused on tracking that retire early account. But to end out this year, we're going to quickly look at the passive income produced by the Roth IRA, the 401k, and my HSA for 2022. First up is my Roth IRA, and we're going to be looking at the growth from 2021 when I began the account until now. In December of 2021, I made $19.24 versus December of this year, where I made $41.19, which is a year-over-year increase of 114.1%. In Q4 of 2021, I made $19.28 versus Q4 of 2022, where I made $53.40, which is a year-over-year increase of 177%. And then for all of 2021 in my Roth account, I made $19.31, and that's compared to the $128.55 for 2022 in the Roth account, which is a 565.7% year-over-year increase. Those are big numbers and a result of my 149.6 total shares, up from 66.9 total shares in 2021. My 21.4% average shares, which is up from 9.6 average shares in 2021, which gives me a share increase percentage of 123.6% year over year. And my current dividend yield in my Roth account is 1.94%, and that's compared to the 1.55% in 2021. And I boast a yield on cost of 1.68% in 2022, and that's up from 1.58% in 2021, which means that yield on cost increased by 0.1% in 2022. Overall, this Roth account is down 20.07%, and again, that's compared to the S&P 500 that's down 13.1% year to date. Now, let's follow that up with my 401k and jump right into the dividends received from origination and last year until now. In December of 2017, which is when I began my 401k account, I was making $162.83. In December of 2021, I made $182.45. And in December of this year, I made $258.27 in dividends in the 401k. That's a year over year increase of 41.6% and 58.6% since origination. In 2017, I made $168.13 in dividends in my 401k. In all of 2021, I made $197.54 in dividends in the 401k. And then in 2022, this year, I made $284.17 in dividends in the 401k alone. That's a year over year increase of 43.9%, which is 69% increase since origination. While the increase in dividend income from the 401k is not the goal of the account, it is a nice byproduct. The main goal of the 401k is to build wealth by slowly adding shares over time. So let's check how I did there. In 2021, I ended with 402.84 total shares and an average of 201.422 shares. And to end 2022, I actually ended with 0 shares in my 401k, but more on that later in the video. Lastly, let's check up on the dividend income received in my HSA from 2021 when I began the account until now. In December of 2021, I made $27.39 versus December of this year where I made $58.56, which is a year over year increase of 113.8%. And for all of 2021, that HSA made $27.44 versus all of this year where I made $65.36, which is a year over year increase of 138.2%. Those are really good numbers for an HSA and a result of my 200.914 total shares versus the end of 2021 where I ended with 99.04 shares and my average of 100.457 shares versus 2021 where I ended with an average of 99.04 shares. In 2022, my shares increased by 102.9% year over year, and overall my HSA is down 14.34% versus the S&P 500 that's down 13.1%. Now, let's combine all the numbers you heard to this point in the video to check the overall growth of my accounts in one easy to understand section. In December of 2017, I made $162.83 in dividends. In December of 2021, I made $253.21 in dividends. And then this December in 2022, I made $403.39 in dividends. This is a year over year increase of 59.3% and 147.7% increase since origination. In quarter 4 of 2017, I made $166.36. In quarter 4 of 2021, I made $289.43. And then for quarter 4 of 2022, I made $479.68 in dividends. This is a year over year increase of 65.7% and 188.3% increase since origination. And now we're going to round all these up and see what I made for the whole year. In 2017, my yearly total was $168.13 in dividends. In 2022, that bumped all the way up to $449.33 versus this year in 2022 where I made $785.29 in dividends, which is a year over year increase of 74.8% or 367% since origination. Those numbers are the reason I'm very excited about the growth of my portfolios in the future. I finished the year with a total of 518.474 shares versus last year where I ended with 642.291 shares, which gives me an average of 23.567 shares for 2022 versus last year where I had an average of 24.704 shares. My shares in 2022 actually decreased by 19.3% year over year. In total, all of the accounts I mentioned in today's video are down 9.66% year to date, and that's again compared to the S&P 500 that's down 13.1% in the same time. Now you might be wondering why there was a decrease in my total shares from 2021 to 2022. The reason for that is my job change that I had in 2022, which led me to convert my old 401k with my old employer over to a Roth IRA, so I had freedom to invest that money how I wished. Doing that caused me to sell those positions, converting those holdings into cash, and then putting that money in my Roth IRA that I mentioned earlier in the video. While the reduction in shares is not something I'm excited about, I am excited to put just over $35,000 to work in that Roth IRA for 2023. Those funds, in addition to that $6,500 2023 Roth IRA limit, will be added to my diversification of QQQJ, QQQM, SCHD, SPYG, Tesla, and VNQ that are all at 10%, and the 40% holding I'm going to have in VOO, which will keep me very nice and diversified for growth and income in the future. Be sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for plenty of videos tracking that progress and growth throughout the year. Lastly, I wanted to quickly touch on the milestones reached in 2022, as well as the goals for 2023. On February 15th, I reached $1,000 in career earned dividends, which was 1,684 days after I received my very first dividend. On July 5th, I received my first double-digit dividend in my Roth IRA, which was 308 days after my first dividend in my Roth IRA. On October 3rd, I received my first $100 in career dividends in that Roth IRA, which was 398 days after that first dividend in the Roth IRA. And then on December 8th, I received my 500th career dollar in my retire early account. A couple notes on this one to actually help you see how quickly this is growing. It took me 394 days to get that first $100 in that retire early account. It then only took me 147 days to get that next $100 in the retire early account. And then it only took me 381 more days to receive another $300 to bring me to that $500 total. As you can see, these windows of time to make $100 in the IBA are just getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and that's what the growth is all about. All right, and the last thing, we're going to check on the goals that I set in 2022, and we're going to set new goals for 2023. One of my first goals in 2022 was to make sure I'm adding plenty of money to my IBA, that retire early account. My best case scenario goal was $7,000 for the year, and I'm happy to say I actually added $11,484.79 for 2022 just in this retire early account. Another one of my goals was to get my IBA income up to $325 a year. When I set that goal, it was pretty ambitious, but I did get all the way up to $307.21 for the year. So we didn't achieve the goal, but we got pretty close. And the last goal we're going to discuss is my overall portfolio goal. And the goal here was to get my overall portfolio income up to $785.88 per year. And I ended this year making $785.29. So a very, very close. Again, didn't meet the goal, but we got super close to this one. All right, I'm going to share these 2023 goals with you guys to hopefully keep me accountable, and hopefully I can hit all the goals and exceed them in 2023. First goal, I want to again fund that IBA, but I'm actually increasing the amount this year to $7,350. I want to see if I can get that IBA, that retire early account income, all the way up to $543.96 for the year. I want to max out my Roth IRA for the third year in a row. Speaking of the Roth IRA, I want to see if I can get that income up to $149.20 for the year. I want to see if I can get my HSA income up to $88.18 for the year. And then for my overall portfolio, I want to see if I can get up to 75% of my holdings being dividend paying stocks in all of my accounts. And I want to see if I can make $1,100.79 for the year in all of my accounts combined. And if you made it to this point in the video, first I want to say thank you for all the support and love to grow the channel in 2022. And I promise to keep getting better for 2023. For those of you that are willing to stick around and watch all the videos, we're going to work together to make each and every one of us successful and get to our own goals in 2023 and beyond with passive income. Again, thank you guys so much for the support, but until next time, see you.